All right, so Aquarius, it has been a very long time since we've got a message from Spirit. So I think it's time for us to do that. All right, so I think what we're going to do is just get some clarity first on what this message is about in general. I was just looking at the pre-shuffle, and it looks very like a very huge message. So it's not about your love life. It looks like it's something related to how to conduct yourself around negative energy, something like that. I could be wrong. May I please have some clarification on the overall message or theme of this reading? I knew it. Okay. All right. First of all, we have the heart chakra. So I do believe that this is about extending unconditional love when it's very, very, very difficult or challenging to do so. So we've got connection, Father Divine and Mother Earth. Make love in your heart. Now, sounds like Hakma and Bina. And Spirit, I'm going to try to explain what I mean by that. On the Tree of Life, according to Kabbalistic Tarot, there are 10 points, or the 10 energies of God, the 10 divine energies of God. If you think of yourself as the Fool, which you are, the Fool it releases the energy from Source, from Spirit, down to the Magician, to Hakma, the Great Father. Then the ideas then go into Bina, the Great Mother, okay, who receives the energy of wisdom and allows it to manifest with understanding. So the Great Father and the Great Mother, it's wisdom is the Great Father, and the Great Mother is understanding. So Father Divine and Mother Earth make love in your heart. Yeah, the combination of wisdom and understanding equals unconditional love. All right. Signs. There will always be signs to guide you on your true path. This is related to the third eye chakra. So there's your intuition. So this reading will certainly relate to relying on your intuition, connecting with God, with Spirit through your intuition. And this is interesting, yeah. And then applying wisdom and understanding. Wisdom, understanding, and intuition. Could be that these two go together, the heart chakra and the third eye, which makes sense. So you can see where this is headed. I'll just get, maybe we'll get a Moonology card. I feel like the theme of the reading has something to do with how to deal with negative energy around you. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Can we see a little bit more? Yeah. A time to give rather than take. You and your loved ones are safe. That's another card breaking. A new start is coming. Aquarius, I'm inserting this now after I have finished the reading. I cannot believe how relevant these three messages are, especially that you and your loved ones are safe and a new start is coming. This message is so powerful and it reveals so much about an important event that is coming up. It's quite shocking. All right, enjoy. It sounds quite heavy. A new start is coming. There is, when Jesus of Nazareth, shortly before he was executed, he spoke of the day of the Son of Man. Now, some people turned it into the second coming of Christ, but in fact, I believe that it, and you don't have to accept this, but I'm just going to suggest to you that what we've been hearing from I'm sure you've heard of the Galactic Federation, which people who are not awake, and I don't mean to speak ill of anyone, but they call them aliens, when in fact I believe that they're spiritual beings. I think they can come into the manifest, but those messages that are being channeled through some readers seem to be suggesting that a new start is coming, and it has to do with something that is being done by other spiritual beings around our planet to make a correction to a very, very huge imbalance that is going on right now because of all of the self-righteousness and, spiritless, dark energies, which they're calling bubbles. Anyway, let's get the reading started. Hopefully I haven't turned you off. I just saw 727 again. Anyway, I've been seeing that number for you guys for a long time. Let's get this reading started. All right, so if you're starting here and you missed the intro, it's okay, because I'm not sure if I was correct about the theme of the reading. However, I'll let you know later on in the reading if I think it's a good idea to go back and to listen to it. We've got the 8 of Wands. It does appear that something is coming in. This is Mercury in Sagittarius. Notice how this appears to be something coming from the heavens. Some people call these the arrows of love. It is related to communication, travel, fast moving, things that move fast. Looking back now, after having done the reading, I also have to point out that this is fast-moving wands, so it's fast-moving fire. You'll see in a moment why this is so relevant. These wands have a target. These wands are moving through the air. Eventually, they will come to rest, and they do usually hit the target. So look at the 2 8s that are there. Anyway. All right, so in 4, please, Spirit, what is the message for Aquarius? In 3, please. In 2. And in 1. Spirit, what do we have for Aquarius? Well, we have something. We definitely have a message. So we have the Page of Wands, which is associated with Sagittarius, and we have Sun in Aries, which is obviously associated with Aries. This person is expecting some kind of the results of some kind of this person has in fact already put in the work for whatever it is they're about to receive. If that person has put in good work, they are going to see something tangible. They are going to receive good results. Now, when that card is in the reverse, something that person did, they may have gotten there by using ruthless means. All right, so, and of course, the Page of Wands, this can often be a message, but the idea of the Page of Wands is that somebody has a challenging task ahead of them. They are up for it. Notice that the wand is taller than that page, and she has a feather in her hat. And in this card, That feather relates to her ability to communicate with spirits, with gods. I was about to say, you may be about to receive a message from spirit, but what's funny is that's what this reading is. So let's keep going. Show us more, please. Oh boy, cards are fighting me. All right. So we have the King of Cups, which could be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. And again, we have the Page of Wands. I believe that you are in this card. Because I believe what's happening is you are facing a challenge, but you are up for it. This challenge is something that you are good at and passionate about. It could be a spiritual challenge. Why do I feel like that person over there could be challenging you? So let's talk about the King of Cups. By the way, all kings on the Tree of Life belong to Hakma, the Great Father. So you may be challenged by someone who wants you to accept their wisdom. One of the challenges when you're dealing with a King of Cups is trying to figure out what they're thinking and feeling. Often, they say nothing, and you have no idea how this person is feeling. You have to use your intuition. You could be dealing with someone who just won't show you who they are. Usually you're dealing with someone who on the inside is highly emotional. Just look at the waves. But you see, on the outside, this person is usually silent. And there's always a warning not to misinterpret this person's silence. This person is simply not clear, that he or she is not transparent about his emotions. This person has often figured out a way to hide his emotions. Even though he could be about to, or she could be about to erupt. The other thing is that I always find in readings, often the King of Cups is someone who can marry for money, or simply be, those could be, some ulterior motives. Anyway, we don't know yet whether this person is upright or reversed, because I don't do reversals, but we should be able to tell in the next few splits. Let's keep going. Show us more, please, for Aquarius. Show us more. Okay. So what we have here is Jupiter in Libra, Four of Swords, and we have an Ace of Pentacles. You'll notice that this is a gift coming from the heavens, coming from Spirit. Over here is someone who is in a state of either meditation, prayer, rest. The Four of Swords, there's not just, everyone has their own way of connecting with Spirit or finding peace in their minds. This person is lying very still and in silence. Often that person is being grateful. They are thanking their stars and garters that they're alive, because the original story behind that card, according to Edward Arthur Waite, who made this deck, along with Pamela Coleman Smith, is that is a soldier who, before he went off to the battle, he dug his own grave or prepared his own coffin in case he might die. And he didn't die. He got through the battle and came back and was so grateful to be alive and to have survived that he lies on his coffin in gratitude. And he's saying a prayer of gratitude. In doing so, he turns golden, he or she, and receives a blessing. In that stained glass window, you can see that someone is being blessed. So what this could be, now, the other thing, well, this may already be obvious, but the idea of the Four of Swords, this person, whatever they're doing, however they're getting there, they are in alignment with spirit, or they could be communicating with some archangel or a guardian angel, or they are at the very least, they're in alignment with their higher self. And once they do that, they have the ability to expand. Jupiter expands. This is Jupiter in Libra. Expand their spiritual enlightenment or their intuitive abilities, or to receive a message or some guidance. And this could be guidance in itself, or a message. Or a gift that comes from being grateful. In fact, this could be something tangible that is showing up in the material world. Usually the Ace of Pentacles is something tangible that is coming in. It's a gift from God. Well, in fact, all gifts from God come in that way. It's not something... you don't have to do any material work to receive this gift. This gift may come into you simply because you were grateful, or because you prayed for someone. People who are not spiritual or don't, I'm going to start calling those people self-righteous people. People who put their faith in man only, people who put their faith in the physical world and who deny God. Those people do not understand the inherent value of work that is done in the fourth or fifth dimension. They do not understand that. But if this person is praying for someone, for example, praying for humanity, praying that animals, are not in a state of pain, or that human beings aren't, praying that, children aren't hungry, that work is highly, highly valuable. And so some people may judge this person, as being lazy or something, who knows? But they do not understand the value of the light that this person is emanating to, in this world. And I do believe that the message here is that you are going to receive a tangible reward from whatever you're doing in the spiritual realm. Your pathway is clear there, the yellow road. This is the sun shining on the Garden of Eden, literally. It has to do with, that's it. Actually, that's interesting. There's a lot about light in the sun here. I do think that is relevant here. The Ace of Pentacles, it does have to do with physical things, tangible results. In other words, an inheritance, a gift of money. But this refers to something tangible coming from the hand of God. So, in other words, this may be something that others think is of this world, and over here, what we have going on is some inner wisdom. This could be a gift from God. the message here could very well be that the value of you connecting with spirit, connecting with your higher self, is being recognized and rewarded here. But it's because of what you're doing here. Acknowledging spirit, not acknowledging physical things. But this person is grateful just to be alive, and they are communicating with spirit. They are thanking spirit. And perhaps the message here is that this person is not self-righteous. They do not place their faith in the wisdom of men or of this world, but in the wisdom of spirit. And in fact, in Corinthians, chapter 2, almost the entire chapter is dedicated to that very idea. And in fact, what chapter 2, one of the points that is being made is that had we, right before Jesus was executed, if our faith had been placed in the wisdom of spirit and not in the wisdom of man, he would not have been crucified. I'm just going to read to you. But as it is written, your eye, in other words, hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things, the deep things of God. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. They said that, we speak of the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew, for had they known it, they would not have crucified. In this particular Bible, it's calling Jesus the Lord of glory. I believe that some kind of gift is coming to you, and it is as a result of your reliance in spirit, your ability to expand your mind, or perhaps you're doing this now or have done this recently. And I believe it has something to do with gratitude as well. Show me more, please. Show us more, please. Oh my goodness, this is very interesting. So we're back to the rich man. I believe I know what this is. I'm seeing the name Lazarus. I think I know what this is. We are exactly on point here. I'm just going to get a split to clarify before I tell you what I believe that. Look at the death card there. Well, I could be dealing with a Scorpio. That's a card of Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and Mercury in Virgo is there. Okay, can we please clarify the King of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles? Holy moly, what a powerful, powerful message. Boom. Okay, we're going to talk about poor old, is it Lazarus? Just give me a moment. I've got to make sure that what I'm about to tell you is correct. It has to do with a friend of Jesus that Jesus actually raised from the dead. It was one of the last things that poor old Jesus did that absolutely freaked everybody out. It's probably the reason why he was executed, or the last straw type thing. Up here we have a wealthy man. Okay? Down here we've got somebody who is devoted, I think, to spirit and to sending a spiritual message. So The story of Lazarus. Lazarus was a beggar. He wasn't a very good-looking man. He was very poor, and apparently his physical appearance, he's referred to several times in a number of religious texts as being full of sores, and it wasn't, he worked for a rich man and was basically given crumbs. He wasn't treated very well at all by the man that he worked for. The rich man would give him literally crumbs off the table to eat. Anyway, and I think he had to sleep outside the rich man's gate or something. There's a number of passages regarding poor old Lazarus. But anyway, shortly before Jesus was arrested, he heard that a couple of weeks, I think, or maybe not even that long, he heard that his friend, the beggar, Lazarus, was ill, very ill. And it is said that he sort of thought that, well, people thought at the time that Jesus knew that he was in fact, that he passed away when no one had told him that. The only information he had was that Lazarus was sick. And he waited 2 days before he went to see Lazarus. He wasn't that, he was only say a night away from the town where Lazarus was ill, which was called Bethany. It's not Bethlehem, by the way. Bethany is in Israel, not in Palestine. Bethlehem is in Palestine. Anyway, none of these places are that far away from each other. But his disciples were said to have had a conversation with Jesus about the fact that they were all going to travel to Bethany to see Lazarus. And Jesus looked at the disciples and said, we must go there. Lazarus is asleep. And the disciples actually misinterpreted that. They said to him, well, if he's asleep, then that's good for him. Why don't we just leave him? And then I'm reading from St. John chapter 11. Then he said, his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit, Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking rest in sleep. Then Jesus said unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. So off they go. When they actually arrived in Bethany, they discovered that he had been dead 4 days. And of course, I just saw 30 by the way. Of course, when he got there, the sister of Lazarus came over and collapsed at the feet of Jesus and begged him. Well, she was crying, and she said, oh, if only you had been there, he would not have died. And it is said that, and everyone was weeping and crying, and I'm reading from chapter 11, verse 33, starting with verse 33. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. And apparently when he went to Lazarus's outside his grave, Jesus cried for a little while. That's how much he loved Lazarus. And then said the Jews, Behold how he loved him. Now, the problem is that they all started begging him. And some of them said, Could not this man, which opened the eyes of the blind, have caused that even this man should not have died? So they all started pressuring Jesus. And again, this seemed to really, trouble Jesus in the sense that I think he was irritated by it. In this card, in the judgment card, the point of this card is not to place faith in money or materialism, but to place faith in spirit. This is Archangel Gabriel blowing the horn of the esoteric, trying to get across the message. Don't you realize Money can only go so far, whereas spirit has the ability to raise a person from the dead. Why do you place reliance, in something that is material? The source of that, the source of everything, is spirit. That's the point of this card. Now let me continue, and you'll see why I'm telling you this. So they came upon the grave, and Jesus said, "Take away the stone." And Lazarus' sister said, "Lord, by this time, he's been there dead for 4 days." And she said something kind of rude about the way that he would smell, because he had been dead for 4 days. And then Jesus said unto her, "Said I not unto thee, that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God?" In other words, he did know that Lazarus' sister had a deep faith in God. Basically, he's telling her that if she has that he didn't, the mustard seed comment didn't come from this particular chapter, but he's trying to make it clear to her that if she really does have faith, there's no reason why this can't be done. And apparently, Jesus was then seen to have been speaking to God, to Spirit himself. He said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me." So in other words, Jesus is saying, look, we've got to do this. This is our last chance to get people to understand the power of spirit. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come forth." And he did. He did. All of the clothing that they had wrapped around him, the people, undid it. And sure enough, then within 24 hours, Lazarus was eating at a table with his whole family. But the point is, what happened after that is that some of the Jews believed in spirit after this happened, but some of them went straight to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. And that from that day forth, all of the Pharisees decided that they would counsel together to put him to death. So this is the last thing. This really triggered the final decision to execute Jesus. But let me explain a little bit more about Lazarus and how this ties into this rich man. For people of the world, people who are self-righteous and don't believe in God and think that everything that we've developed, every vaccine, every medical miracle, everything is of man, people who don't give credit to spirit, people who aren't humble to God, this rich man is that sort of person. Well, when people like that pass on, they can go to a place. If spirit, God has the ability to put someone's soul in time out. You could call it a certain level of hell if you want. But the problem is, in that level of Hades, that person can no longer pass from the manifest to the unmanifest. And in fact, the pathway is not clear. In other words, they're stuck in what we now call hell. It's not a place where someone is burning up, but they are unable to go back into the manifest. They're unable. And the problem with these people is they don't see this. They don't believe in spirit until they see it. And then it's too late. And let me tell you why. I'm reading from St. Luke. There was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. Now, Abraham is another word for God. The rich man also died and was buried. And now in this Bible, they're calling it hell, but it's not the hell that modern Christianity will describe. It doesn't have anything to do with fire or burning to death. But anyway, and in hell the rich man lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus safely in his bosom. And he cried out, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented here. But Abraham said, so this is God speaking to the rich man, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, continues God, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed. In other texts they call it a chasm. So that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. So God is explaining that because you didn't have faith, because you weren't humble to God, because you didn't honor, because you were self-righteous, now there's a problem. There's a great chasm. The pathway from the unmanifest to the manifest is blocked. That person cannot access spirit after they pass. Their soul is trapped. It's not free. Now, the rich man then said to Abraham, basically he said, well, if you can't save me, can you please do something to go prove to my brothers who are still living so that they don't get trapped like I am? He said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldst send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come to pass into this place of torment. Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. In other words, God is saying, look, Moses has been there, prophets have been there. I don't know why Abraham, I don't know why he didn't mention Jesus, but clearly Jesus was a prophet. But anyway, and he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And God answered back, If they hear not Moses and not the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. And God was right. Because when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, most of the people just got angrier and decided to execute Jesus, torture him for doing this beautiful thing. So, there are, I believe the moral to this story is there are some people that you just have to avoid. There are some people who will challenge your beliefs, and they may never, ever change, and their soul becomes trapped. Now, I believe, though, that the message here, because over here we have the 8 of Pentacles, and this is someone answering a calling, I believe that you're being called upon to continue to pass the word on. The other thing that you need to do is make sure that you're not responding to any of that negative energy. And I think I know what's coming up. In case I'm wrong, I don't want to say anything else. Let's just keep going. Show us more, please, Spirit, and thank you so much. Show us more, please, for Aquarius. Right, it's right here. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. I'm going to clarify this. It is coming out. Clarify the Four of Swords and the Five of Wands, please. And thank you so much. Clarify the Four of Swords and the thank you so much. Wow. So we have Jupiter in Libra again, Saturn in Leo, Mars in Scorpio. Hang on, I've got to check on that in a moment. Scorpio. And a card of Taurus. Yes, the Five of Cups is Mars in Scorpio. We call it the Lord of Loss in Pleasure. Sometimes it represents someone who's very disappointed in matters of the heart. It usually has to do with misunderstandings in relationships. So the Five of Wands is associated with Saturn in Leo. Now remember that Saturn restricts and destroys. So the issue here, that strife and that difficulty, that severity that is going on in this card. So this could be strife that you have endured. The idea of Saturn in Leo, Saturn is supposed to break down or burn, destroy the ego. It is necessary to do this in order to achieve spiritual goals. So perhaps some of what you're working on here in the expansion of your spirituality is the breaking down of ego. You know, this is something that you may have been able to do. Now, down here, we've got, Mars in Scorpio. This is someone really who is feeling very terrible because of a misunderstanding and because of heartbreak, but they are feeling very remorseful, okay? Over here, we have the energy of Taurus. This Knight of Pentacles is stable, loyal, had stability and loyalty to offer. So and gratitude, the person lying here is being grateful. Perhaps what Spirit is telling you is that Spirit is grateful because you have managed to break down somebody's ego down here. This person is very sad. They have lost their pleasure. They know that the disappointment that they have experienced in a relationship, it's their fault. This person may be very remorseful that they missed out on an opportunity with you, or that they kept something stuck, they wouldn't move, or that you would have been very loyal and faithful, or they are regretting dealing with a number of people instead of being loyal and faithful. But I think what you're doing here is you're grateful. You are grateful for the experience that you went through with this person. Somehow you are finding the good in it. I was having a Zoom earlier with one of you Aquarians, and she was expressing gratitude for having gone through a difficult relationship, even though it was very heartbreaking. And I think what Spirit is telling you, and actually in that Zoom, it was eminently clear that she had caused and triggered a total transformation in her person to the point where they may be able to come together. That's what the reading was suggesting. But I think two things are going on here. Spirit is grateful to you for being grateful for the strife, for seeing the good in the accomplishment that you've achieved. And you have accomplished something. You've taken someone who had that bubble of dark energy and broke down the ego of that person. Show us more, please, Spirit, and thank you so much. Show us more. Wow. Whoa, guys, this is incredible. I'm going to get a clarification split from the Marseille deck. Clarify the King of Cups and the Hierophant, please. Clarify the King of Cups and the Hierophant. Whoa. All right. I think that this person here is being shown, it's being made very clear in this reading, that this person, either in the past or now, is still subscribing to this doctrine of external religion. In other words, this person might see themselves as being a spiritual person. Maybe this person says, you know, always be careful when you hear people touting or tooting their own horn and saying, I'm a Christian, I'm this, When you hear people saying things like that, especially when they're singling out a certain religion or deity, that is a red flag right there. Because people who are truly loyal and faithful to spirit, they do not go around defending themselves by saying, I'm a Christian. They might say, I'm very spiritual, I'm very loyal, I have an unbreakable faith in God. They might say that, but they will not pick a certain religion and, and hide behind it. Moreover, this card is not about spirituality. It's about all of the powerful, these are the keys to the Golden Gate. This is a very, elegant, this is all pomp and circumstance. This person has a triple crown on. There are people worshiping at his feet. He's got earmuffs on. He doesn't need to hear you. This person has one way, my way or the highway. What I say goes. This is the Pope who thinks that he's God, or closer to God than a beggar could be. This person could be wealthy and very powerful. They could abuse the power. But the Hierophant is always trying to speak to the High Priestess. High Priestess is ultimate spirituality, and he cannot get any information from her. She will not speak to him. He wouldn't understand what she had to say anyway. So you might think that this person look at this person, they might be saying, I'm this, I'm that, I go to church. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean a thing. Now, down here, we've got something very unexpected happening here. It's also associated with a wheel. This person here could have kept you in a wheel. This person here could have been lying to you. This person could have been thinking of themselves as better than you. They could have been thinking of you as a child or a page. But something very unexpected is about to happen. And it's a result of what this person has done and the choices they made. If something is coming to you, it's a result of your, of your particular beliefs and faith and how you've conducted yourself. Show me more, please. Okay, there's 3 coming out. Whoa, wow. Wow. I do believe that man is rich because Spirit saw, this is God, Allah, Buddha, whatever your name for Spirit is. This person saw the truth about that King of Cups. The truth was, this King of Cups was very greedy. They had a blocked heart. Their heart was dark. They invested in money instead of in love. The only thing important to this person is money. And they don't give, they keep all of it. All of it. This person may have built that city. He owns the city. Notice how it's a stage card. Gray flat surface. There aren't many stage cards in tarot. What does that mean? That means this person is out of touch with reality. So if they are putting all their faith in these coins. If they think they're safe because they've got money and they won't lose it, they're out of touch with reality. Spirit is watching. This person may also have closed their heart. This chest plate here, this person does not want to feel any emotion, neither happy nor sad. They have shut down their emotions, reined in their emotions. Why? So they can win. So the chariot doesn't topple over. Spirit saw all of this. This person thinks they're going to win. They think there's the abyss from the unmanifest into the manifest. They think, notice how they're turned toward the world, the manifest. They have their back to the unmanifest here. They have their back to it. Just going to get a little clarification with the Marseille deck. Clarify the Four of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Chariot card. Oh, two fives. Gavora, difficulty, strife. The fifth Sephira on the Tree of Life is called the Tester. It is where all the strife, it is the most difficult Sephira to master. It's where you can be gang-stalked, experience massive disappointments in love. So this person might think that he's won, a great victory. This person may have got there by causing others strife, by being competitive, by disappointing people in love. The Four of Pentacles is called the Lord of Earthly Power. Spirit sees who this person truly is. Spirit sees the nature of this person in the Four of Pentacles, that they were materialistic, blocked their heart. They were greedy. They were resistant to change. They held on to grudges. They just wanted to win. Spirit sees that this person, caused arguments, torment. They were competitive. Spirit may also see that this person was out to conquest, But remember that the victory that is achieved with this energy, it's winning, but it's winning on physical planes. Winning money, winning a position, winning power. The planes are manifest, they're external, just like the Hierophant is the doctrine of external religion. Spirit sees the true nature of this person. Remember that the river behind the Chariot, it's right there, you can barely see it. You can see the little blue river there. It's called the Great Abyss between Keter and creation. In other words, between the immaterial and the material, between spirit and the world of the manifest. And remember that the person in the Chariot, he can, gallop up to the high priestess and ask her to show him the scroll. But then he cannot read it. So he asks her to read it to him, and if she does, he cannot understand what she is saying because he's shut his heart down. He shut down his heart, put a big pentacle in front of it. Now I believe that the message is also here, that Spirit sees what you went through. There are 2 5s here. All of the 5s in tarot are related to that severe point on the Tree of Life, Gevura. And what you develop when you master that, when you've been exposed to gang stalking or to heartbreak, if you can deal with it correctly, in other words, you don't seek vengeance on that person even though they've done you wrong, you instead, say a prayer of gratitude to God that you've gotten through it and learned something, it gives you the power of discipline. It enables us to get through difficult periods. It enables us to be serious. It's a tester, and you have obviously passed this test well. In the time of Jesus, we were speaking of the Pharisees a while ago, but the Jews were constantly being attacked by, these kings of Egypt and pharaohs, and this was their attack. And if we were to roll ourselves back before Jesus' time, in the time of Moses, the story of the parting of the Red Sea, in that time, Spirit would have high priests go down and speak to the Jews before any battle was to take place, to raise up their spirits and to take fear out of their heart. And there was a real interesting quote that came from, I can't remember which scripture this comes from, but it is to summarize why and the lecture was necessary, and who Moses should be, should have flanking him. To God, the size of the army was not important. The heart of the army was. He didn't want people who were distracted by things that did not matter. And I think that, it's your heart. This person has shut down their heart. It's your heart that matters. This person has blocked their heart, caused you strife, but you still found a way to be thankful for the experience that you went through. In the Gospel of Mark, and I think it's chapter 11, verse 24. I'm not sure about that, though, but the number 11 and 24 could be important. The quote goes something like this: "For this reason, I tell you, when you pray and ask for something, believe that you have received it, and you will be given whatever you ask for. And when you stand and pray, forgive anything that you may have against anyone." So, this person may have caused you a lot of damage. So that God may forgive any of the wrongs that you have done. So, I think what's happening here is this is a strong message that if you have been through the tester, if someone has put you through this kind of a test, it is not between you and them. It is between you and God sees the work that you did. God sees what you went through. And God also sees the nature of this person. So it matters not what this person thinks. What matters is what Spirit sees, what you've done, what you feel. Did you give it your best shot? Let's keep going. Show me more, please. Yeah, I think we've just arrived at the end of the message. Wow. Look at the gift that you are being given here. The real victory, the true victory is those who pass along the blessings of God. Because of what you've done, this victory, this miracle, this is a holy grail. That is the true victory. That is where the true power comes from. And remember that Moses and the parting of the Red Sea, it was a small army that he had. And they were chased right to the edge of the Red Sea by a bunch of chariots. They were huge. Their backs were right up against. Had Moses not, had that miracle of the parting of the Red Sea not occurred, which was a miracle from God, they would have been dead. It was a very small army. And they won. That small army won. Because God gave them a blessing. It was a reward. It was a reward for not being self-righteous. It was a reward for believing in the unseen, for having an unshakable faith in spirit. Remember, these 5 streams of water represent the 5 senses. But the true source of everything, the unconditional love, it cannot be seen with the eye or heard. You may watch acts that are a result of it, but you can't bottle this up. It comes from the quantum field. It comes from that feeling in your heart of love. Now I am going to close the message off with another piece of information. It's just something for you to consider. You may or may not want to look at this. There are some YouTube channels where people are channeling messages from the Placidians, or the Galactic Federation, these so-called aliens who I believe are actual spiritual beings. But what is really interesting about it is that many of the messages refer to the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Now, that same phrase is very similar to what Jesus was trying to warn everyone about. Now, the messages that I'm noticing that are on YouTube from some YouTube channels, and one channel which I believe is a legitimate Galactic Federation, I believe that somebody is translating the messages. Obviously, it's a human being doing it and loading it up onto YouTube. But the actual messages themselves are eerily similar to what Jesus of Nazareth was warning about. Let me first of all tell you about the message that is being channeled from some of the readers on YouTube from the Galactic Federation. First of all, that there is a concern of a buildup of dark energy on the Earth's surface. And that we have been obviously destroying our environment, but believe it or not, just as damaging is the negative voids, the dark energies that are disrupting light workers and distracting all of you. Some of you are very good at staying away from these negative energies, but some of you are in an environment where you can't avoid it. For example, if you're living with a toxic person and currently financially you just cannot move, it requires a great deal of discipline not to fall into that energy. So the message is, we don't work with your timeline. We work in the here and now. Everything on our earth is now unstable. Every one of you who is already awake must try to keep yourself elevated, vibrating love, vibrating light. They are exhausted because they have been surrounding the earth and trying to raise the vibration. This has been going on for about 50 years, and they cannot do it anymore because there are negative black holes, literally dark energies on the earth caused by the unbelievers, by the self-righteous, mostly by leaders of nations who are doing terrible things. And the message is that they call it Gaia will ascend. The time will come. And I don't mean to scare anyone, but of course you guys are not the ones who are going to be, you won't be affected by this, but the message was, it is exhausting work for us. If we were human, we would already have given up, but our love is our unconditional love is immense and inexhaustible. Those who have black hearts, light does not penetrate. These people push the planet back. Their time is coming, and we will bring an end to everything dark. This movement is very close. The brothers around your planet are exhausted from maintaining balance and positive forces on your planet. So there is a reference to Alcyon's, the sun. It's a star called Alcyon, I think. They explain that it is the shortest distance between it and your galaxy. So it is the star, besides, obviously our sun is not the star that they're referring to. But it is another sun, and what they are going to do, they are orchestrate, is for little sparks of fire from that sun to disintegrate the dark energies so that they are cleansed from the planet. The lost souls, or evil, the self-righteous, those who have forgotten love, these are where these things are headed. So I'm continuing on with the message being channeled from the Placidians, okay? In other words, what people are calling the aliens, the Galactic Federation. Here's what is really eerie about it. They said don't worry where you are, those who are not self-righteous, those who do not deny God, those who accept God, we know where you are. Each one is where they have to be. Raise the flag of light and love. Everyone is where they are supposed to be, according to their vibration. Go to where your vibration brings you. And there was a warning that if it is all possible, to move into a place of peace. For example, if you don't feel that your living space, if you feel that it's dragging down your vibration, make an effort to move, to change your dwelling house. Now, let me now go to the Gospel of St. Luke. I'm going to refer to some other ones as well, and I'm going to quote what Jesus described the day that the Son of Man will be revealed. It is eerily similar to the message that is being channeled from the so-called aliens. So remember that what the Placidians were saying was they were talking about bolts of light, of fire coming from this other sun. So I'm reading from the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 17, when Jesus was warning the disciples not to be distracted by the things of the world. He said unto the disciples, the day will come when ye shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and ye shall not see it, because they say to you, see here, or see there. Go not after them, nor follow them. For as the lightning out of the one part under heaven shineth unto the other part under heaven, so shall also the Son of Man be in his day. But first he must suffer many things and be rejected of this generation. And then he gave an example of the day of Noah. He said, likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. And then he goes into this explanation of, it doesn't matter where you are. We know you, and one will be taken and one will not. He says, in that day, he which shall be upon the housetop and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. I tell you, in that night, 2 men shall die in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. And he went on and on about, it's 2 people will be here, one will be taken, one will leave. because in other words, if you remain faithful, humble, remain your humble servant to Spirit, give thanks to Spirit, to Source, have faith in Spirit when it's tested. Spirit knows, in that case, Spirit knows where you are. You achieve this incredible victory. It's just something to think about. If anyone is interested in knowing about that message, send me an email and I'll send you the link to the now obviously it's done in a voiceover, and all of the voiceovers are identical, but it is so unusual, the wording that they use and the unusual things that they focus on, and it's so universal in the sense that they're not using any terminology that is distinct to or unique to any particular deity. It truly sounds very authentic. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening, and good work. Your blessing will be a victory.